Nirvana Sutra says, of all footprints, that of the elephant is supreme. Of all mindfulness meditations, that on impermanence is supreme. Without paying attention to subtle impermanence, all virtuous practices become ordinary. Even if one offers 7 treasures, including gold and silver, to Arhats in the worlds of the 10 directions, day and night, for millions of kalpas, it can't compare to abiding in subtle impermanence for a moment. Ordinary people practice good deeds to attain happiness and avoid fear and suffering, but they are still attached to the 8 worldly concerns. In this state, it's hopeless to liberate from samsara. Because the motivation for giving alms and upholding precepts is to seek rewards in the human and heaven realms for fame and gain, without meditating on impermanence, all good deeds become the causes of samsara. Although offering to supreme beings brings great merit, it can't compare to the merit of being mindful of subtle impermanence for a single moment. Having confirmed the subtle impermanence of all conditioned things is the gateway to emptiness. After realizing that all conditioned things are momentary and impermanent, the body, mind, and external world turn out to be only momentary appearances in the here and now. By observing and analyzing this moment, we can realize no self in phenomena. The impermanence of all phenomena is the key to realizing no self in phenomena. Next, let's analyze from 2 aspects. First, understanding subtle impermanence is the gateway to no self in person. Second, understanding subtle impermanence is also the gateway to no self in phenomena. Understanding subtle impermanence is the gateway to no self in person. Once we've established that the continuum of body and mind are just momentary false combinations, we will know that since beginningless time till now, samsara is a life flow of momentary birth and death. Take this life as an example. From the first moment of dependent arising to the last moment of this life, every moment in the middle arises from the previous moment and gives rise to the next moment. Observe the first moment of this life. It should be either permanent or impermanent. Since there are subsequent changes in body and mind, we know that the first moment is impermanent. Since the first moment is impermanent, every subsequent moment is also impermanent, gradually experiencing birth, aging, illness, and death. The cycle of life is actually a stream of momentary consciousnesses. Look at the last moment of life. It's caused by the previous moment. Moreover, the death of this life and the past life are the cessation of a continuum. Since the death of the past life is not the end, the death of this life shouldn't be the end either. Hence, reincarnation over 3 times is actually a continuum of momentary consciousnesses. From 3 consecutive moments, we know the 3 times, past, present, and future. The 3 moments are the most microscopic 3 times. When expanded, they are the 3 lifetimes on a macroscopic level. The most microscopic 3 times are the 3 moments. This applies to 3 moments as well as billions of moments. As long as there are causes and conditions for rebirth, samsara will continue. In Theravada, only when an Arhat enters the absorption of cessation will the causes and conditions of returning to the Nirvana ripen, and the continuum of the 5 aggregates pause. In short, by understanding momentariness, we'll realize that this life is just a moment, and samsara is a moment too. Throughout history, whether domestic or international, many non-Buddhist schools acknowledge the existence of a permanent self. For example, the Samkhya school believes in a divine self. The Ishvara school believes in Ishvara and eternal souls. Also, there is the inconceivable self, etc. These various self share one thing in common: permanent and immortal. Due to ignorance, ordinary beings believe that in their 5 aggregates there is a permanent self that came from the past and goes to the future. Regarding the 5 aggregates of other sentient beings, such as family and friends, they regard as mine. This is attachment to self in person. Besides, some non-Buddhist schools are nihilists, believing that one is changeless while being alive, but becomes nothing upon death. Of course, this view is also wrong. In reality, when a wise person perceives the world, there is no permanent phenomenon that abides from one moment to the next. The body and mind of sentient beings are a series of different moments. There is no permanent phenomenon that came from the past and goes to the future. Take 2 moments as an example. When the first moment ceases, the second moment arises. When the second moment arises, the first moment has already ceased. They are just 2 similar appearances. In the momentary material world, there is no permanent self. In the momentary body, there is no permanent self. In the momentary mind and mental factors, there is no permanent self either. In the body, mind, and world, no permanent thing is found. In conventional truth, all phenomena are just dependent arising, produced by causes and conditions, momentary and impermanent. By observing and analysing subtle impermanence fully, we'll naturally dispel the delusion of a permanent self, thus generating the power of conviction without thinking of a permanent self even for a moment, thereby directly entering the emptiness of no self. In short, whether it is a pure enlightened being or an impure ordinary being, there is no real self in their 5 aggregates. Buddhas and bodhisattvas are conceptualized based on pure aggregates, while ordinary beings are conceptualized based on impure aggregates. Those who haven't comprehended subtle impermanence and haven't eradicated self-attachment See both enlightened beings and ordinary beings through the coloured glasses of self-attachment. In their minds, the Buddha is also a real existence. The practitioners who haven't comprehended subtle impermanence, whether they are aware of their thoughts or not, are always engaging in activities based on self-attachment. When such practitioners practice the generation stage or deity yoga in Vajrayana, they are also attached to a self, which is definitely prone to be possessed. I've seen many such people who have been possessed. They haven't even realized Theravada emptiness, but dare to practice Vajrayana. Upon practicing the generation stage, they will attract demons to possess them. Without realizing no self and with strong self-attachment, they are daydreaming about getting enlightened through Zen meditation, which is merely lip service. Those who are not possessed are already lucky. These ignorant people claim to practice the great perfection, but are actually practicing non-Buddhist ways. Conversely, after truly comprehending subtle impermanence, there will be a great change in your view. After cultivating conviction of subtle impermanence, what you see would be only moments, but no permanent phenomena. In other words, you'll see that the five aggregates of body and mind are only a series of momentary false combinations. Some people say, I understand this. Maybe you understand it, but you haven't practiced it, so impermanence is just a concept for you, a concept. Understanding subtle impermanence is the gateway to no self in phenomena. Meditating on impermanence is a core practice in Theravada Buddhism. In terms of the view, they have analysed the momentary nature of all conditioned phenomena without any real gross continuum. The Theravada tradition analyses all phenomena of time and space from two aspects. First, particles. Ultimately, only indivisible particles are seen, namely, no gross forms. The so-called indivisible particle means a particle that can't be divided further. Second, time. Only indivisible moments are seen, but no gross mind continuum. The so-called indivisible moment means a moment that can't be divided further. According to Theravada scriptures, the ultimate truth of the world is indivisible particles and indivisible moments. On the conventional level, all coarse phenomena of time and space are mere illusions. In terms of all conditioned phenomena and five aggregates of oneself and others, whether material or mental, all coarse continuums and aggregates are mere illusions and devoid of real existence and self. In this way, one has seen partial no-self in phenomena. From the perspective of the mind-only school in Mahayana, all phenomena are created by the mind only, and the three realms are just the consciousness. There is no object outside the mind. The mind is the object, and the object is the mind. All phenomena in the three realms are an image of the eighth consciousness. Therefore, the momentariness of all conditioned things that arise dependently is determined by the momentariness of the eighth consciousness. No matter how lasting or fleeting the body, mind, or world is, nothing is more stable or enduring than a momentary phenomenon. They are just the state of the eighth consciousness. That's why we should learn to live in the here and now. When one is alive and awake, all perceptions are just the functioning of the current feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. In a dream, all appearances are just the functioning of the current dream mind. When one is dying, all appearances, whether suffering or scary, pure or impure, rebirth or falling, are the manifestation of one's current karma. In the bardo, all appearances, inner or outer, are the functioning of one's karma after death. The various states of ordinary beings in the six realms, whether individual experiences or shared perceptions, are classified as shared illusions and individual illusions. Shared karma leads to shared illusions, while individual karma leads to individual illusions. All of them are the distorted and impure consciousness that arises dependently in the current moment. In Mahayana, the gateway to no-self in phenomena is also based on understanding subtle impermanence, after which the boundless phenomena in the universe immediately turn out to be a momentary appearance. By realizing the arising and ceasing based on this moment, we can enter emptiness. This is a crucial gateway to emptiness.